Greetings. Welcome back to Bible Topics that make you say, hmm. And I'm Robin Sweet Ransom. All right, today I am going to talk to you about somebody in the Bible that a lot of you may be familiar with, but not a whole lot of detail. You know that this man, Samson, was strong, had long hair, and all that jazz. But let's explore him deeper. So, Samson, a lesson on indulgence, strength, and passion. And let's examine this picture here. What do you see? So, here's Samson being depicted. Somewhat you can tell his hair is long. It looks like he's in chains here. What's going on with that? And then here he is here, and this appears to be, who do you think that is with some shears to cut off his hair? Delilah. All right, so we're all familiar with the Samson and Delilah story, but this is going to be a three-parter, and we're going to focus on the beginning of Samson, how he became who he became. So let's pick up in Judges chapter 13, verses 1 through 5. And I think his birth story is really interesting. It's one of the few stories in the Bible where a lot of attention to detail is paid to it. By the way, have you ever recognized or paid attention to how many barren women there were in the Bible who later had children? And some of them were old. So let's pick up here. The Israelites again did what was evil in the Lord's sight. So the Lord handed them over to the Philistine 40 years. There was a certain man from Zorah, from the family of Dan, whose name was Manoah. His wife was barren and had no children. The angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, "It is true that you are barren and have no children, but you will conceive and give birth to a son. Now, please be careful not to drink wine or other alcoholic beverages or to eat anything unclean, for indeed you will conceive and give birth to a son. You must never cut his hair, because the boy will be a Nazarite to God from birth, and he will begin to save Israel from the power of the Philistines." So the Nazarites did not drink alcohol. They weren't supposed to touch dead bodies. They weren't supposed to cut their hair because their long hair was an outward show to the world that they had made a special vow unto God. And people would make these vows at different times in their life. At one point, I believe Paul made the Nazarite vow, but you didn't have to stay in those conditions. But for Samson, he was supposed to be a Nazarite, you could say from the womb, because his mother was supposed to restrict how she ate and drank and so forth. Picking up in verse 6. Then the woman went and told her husband, "A man of God came to me. He looked like the awe-inspiring angel of God. I didn't ask him where he came from. He didn't tell me his name. He said to me, 'You will conceive and give birth to a son. Therefore, do not drink wine or other alcoholic beverages, and do not eat anything unclean, because the boy will be a Nazarite to God from birth until the day of his death.'" This is serious business. She's going to get this special child, and special requirements were going to be made of her and of him. Manoah prayed to the Lord and said, "Please, Lord, let the man of God you sent come again to us and teach us what we should do for the boy who will be born." Isn't that wonderful? They want to know how to raise this special child. And so God listened to Manoah, and the angel of God came again to the woman. I find it fascinating that it was Manoah who made the request, but the angel still went back to the wife. She was sitting in the field, and her husband Manoah was not with her. The woman ran quickly to her husband and told him, "The man who came to me today has just come back." Like, he could have saved her a trip by just waiting to show up when they were both together, but for whatever reason, the angel chose to do it differently both times. Anyway, so Manoah got up and followed his wife. When he came to the man, he asked, "Are you the man who spoke to my wife?" "I am," he said. Then Manoah asked, "When your words come true," he didn't say if, he said when, so there's faith, "what will the boy's responsibilities and mission be?" Great question. The angel of the Lord answered Manoah, "Your wife needs to do everything I told her." Manoah took a young goat and a grain offering and offered them on the rock to the Lord. And he did a wonderful thing while Manoah and his wife were watching. Catch this. When the flame went up from the altar to the sky, the angel of the Lord went up in its flame. When Manoah and his wife saw this, they fell face down on the ground. So the woman gave birth to a son and named him Samson. The boy grew, and the Lord blessed him. Now you can imagine with the beginning of his life, how special he was to his parents. Even before he got here, they had no children, and who knows how long they were without children. And after they had given up hope of ever having children, they had Samson. And more importantly, an angel appeared to them not once, but twice to give them information about this special child. So of course, Samson would be indulged, wouldn't you say? Think about those of you who only have one child, how much you indulge that child. So, Samson, a lesson on indulgence, strength, and passion. Indulgence can lead to entitlement and sin. Samson's mother was supernaturally favored by God. She had to follow strict guidelines. Samson was made a Nazarite from birth. He was indulged, and this eventually led to a reckless life. Samson grew to be physically strong, but morally weak. Now, notice the angel did not tell them that he was going to have supernatural strength. He just told him don't cut his hair. Despite this, despite being morally weak, he was favored by God like we are. Now, look at this picture. So I didn't realize that Lindsay Wagner played in a movie called Samson. So we recognize her here. And then this little baby here, he was known to have the longest hair of a little baby. And it's funny, he's a little Asian baby, just as cute as he can be with all that hair. I guarantee you, they say it's not a wig, that's really his hair. So I figure who best to portray my depiction of baby Samson, but this little baby with all this hair. All right, so self-control is the best strength to have. We know that Samson became very strong, but he could not control his lust. So we need to be thinking about why we need self-control to succeed and how to develop it. Because Samson's life did not end so well because he had not mastered how to control his body. Galatians 5:22 and 23 says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. So we need self-control to help us really manage the gifts that God has given us most effectively. All right, join me next time when we talk about the other aspect of Samson's life, his issue with his strength and so forth, and how he used it. All right, so I'll see you next time on Bible Topics That Make You Say, hmm. And by the way, I'm doing this lesson per special request of my sister, Tamika Baird. She asked me to do something on Samson. And so I'm going, oh, wait a minute. She asked me to do something on somebody else. Well, nevertheless, she asked me to do something on the Black Israelites, so that's going to be coming up. My point is this: if there's a topic that you want me to explore, drop it in the comment section, and I'll get that done for you. All right, see you soon.